GoPro have long established their devices as the benchmark when it comes to the action camera market. The Hero 6 continued that trend with some great features wrapped in a rugged design, and this year, just like clockwork, we have the latest and greatest from GoPro, the Hero 7. Available in several flavours including the white and silver models, each featuring a reduced feature set as well as no front LCD display, in this video we'll be looking at the flagship Black Edition, which looks almost identical to its predecessor, although now with several new software features like a boosted image stabilization system that GoPro call HyperSmooth, a fancy time-lapse effect called TimeWarp, and the ability to live stream footage to social media sites like Facebook using your smartphone. There's no change with the package contents either, a couple of adhesive mounts to get you started, your USB charging cable, and the camera itself complete within its frame housing. Fortunately, the battery is the same size and shape as the Hero 5 and 6 before it, so your stash of batteries can be reused here, with third-party batteries working just the same. Battery life hasn't been improved though, and you'll squeeze around the same runtime as the Hero 6, which isn't so bad regardless. If you are hoping for a redesign, you won't find one here. It looks and feels practically identical to the Hero 6 and 5 before it, which is great for those with a collection of mounting options that can be reused here. Still, at least GoPro has changed the colour this time from the traditional grey to black for this flagship model. The only other major hardware change is a redesigned microphone membrane, which GoPro's tweaked to improve overall sound quality and reduce vibration sounds from bone-shaking moments like mountain biking. Otherwise, it's business as usual with a rubberized finish and waterproofing down to 10 meters. There's a 2-inch touchscreen display on the back, which is bright and sharp enough for quick previews of your shots. And on the sides, you'll find the usual button array and cluster of ports under a removable door. When it comes to the user interface, we get a fresh new look though. GoPro's attempt to simplify things down even further. We still have the usual swipe gestures for changing preferences and settings, and everything boils down to 3 core modes: time-lapse, video, and photo. So swiping down from the top presents the overall preferences page, which thankfully now incorporates some of the more common options right on the first screen, such as turning audio beeps on and off without having to go deep into the menu system. A single tap and we can quickly enter the resolutions menu, where we'll still receive the 4K 60 max resolution from the Hero 6, as well as a couple of additional options lower down, although nothing to get excited about. Meanwhile, we still have the more advanced options like Pro Tune, now in the resolutions menu itself, so all the options are still there, just refined a little. Nothing that'll take too long to get used to. All in all, the updated menu system gives the camera a fresher overall feel, and on the whole it does make the system easier to use too. There's a new portrait mode as well, so when you rotate the camera on its edge it'll automatically go into that mode, and the footage you capture will be vertical style footage. Although I did find it a little too keen to flip into this mode, but fortunately you can at least still lock it to stay in landscape, which I personally prefer. Also note, voice commands are still available with the Hero 7, and you'll even find a couple of new commands to start and stop capture thrown in there too. Of course, we still have the GoPro Remote app, and if you have an iOS device you'll get a slightly better experience this time round than before. It's most noticeable when you first pair the GoPro, as the entire thing only takes a few moments versus the somewhat cumbersome process before. It'll even guide you through updating the camera nice and easy too, transferring files and updating completely seamlessly. Competitors should certainly take note from GoPro's example. Anyway, here we can still live view and remotely control the unit, as well as change settings. Switching between different modes is refreshingly quick and easy too. It's a clear improvement, as things just seem sleeker and smoother than before, which is a definite win. GoPro have always had a decent app over the competition, and that continues with their flagship camera. No problems here at all. This time they incorporate a new streaming feature as well, although you'll still need your smartphone to stream anyway. Not something I'd personally use very often, but some may find it a useful addition. When it comes to performance, straight from the camera, the Hero 7 Black's video quality is as excellent as the Hero 6 before it. There's very little difference in dynamic range and colour, since it uses the same processor, lens, and sensor size. GoPro's main focus with the Hero 7 was on improving video stabilization, so if you're wondering whether to upgrade from the Hero 6 Black, then video quality alone isn't a reason to do so. In some scenes the footage looks a little warmer than its predecessor, but otherwise it has the same rich colours in good light. To really squeeze the most out of the Hero 7 Black, you'll want to use the Pro Tune mode, which boosts video bit rates and lets you tweak settings like ISO ranges, sharpness and exposure compensation, as well as shoot in a flat colour profile for later editing. Although if you don't want to faff about with all the editing, then the out-of-camera footage will be absolutely fine for most non-professional needs. One thing GoPro does say it completely solved on the Hero 7 Black though is rolling shutter, which is the jello-like effect you can sometimes see in fast-moving objects. So far in my test footage I haven't seen any major signs of it, so that's another bonus over some of GoPro's earlier Hero cameras. The changes to the built-in microphones are a little better too. It's now a solid option for YouTubers. The dual microphones still do a decent job of reducing wind noise on bike rides too, so for general usage they are just fine. Anything more and you'll still want an external solution. So GoPro haven't been hard at work increasing video quality, but they have with stabilization. Available in this Black Edition only is HyperSmooth. In GoPro's own words, it's designed to offer gimbal-like stabilization, although I take that with a pinch of salt. Digital stabilization won't offer true gimbal-like performance, but it does offer better stabilization than ever before. It works by using an additional 1GB of RAM on the camera itself to do predictive scene analysis. Basically trying to figure out what you're about to do by considering speed via GPS, accelerometer data, and also the makeup of the scene itself by analysing what's in it, thus making the stabilization more proactive rather than reactive. Even so, it seems to be doing the trick. On some terrain it's a bit better, in other conditions it's a lot better. Definitely an improvement all round. It even works when using the highest 4K 60 mode too. It is really impressive and easily the best electronic video stabilization you'll find on an action camera at the moment. Moving on, we also have the new TimeWarp feature, which the rest of the world calls Time-Lapse. By enabling this mode we can select resolution and field of view, as well as the speed at which the video needs to be captured. It will even tell you roughly how many seconds of footage you'll get for a 5-minute recording. Normal time-lapse videos usually work best when the camera is static and with all the motion happening around it, because footage can otherwise get a bit jerky. But TimeWarp's smoothness means it's a very nice option for capturing and sharing sped up first-person journeys like bike rides, since it's using video rather than static images, creating a smooth and seamless movement as the camera pans through different subjects. Ultimately, the look and feel of the TimeWarp is far better than using a simple time-lapse video or even sped up video footage. By leveraging the HyperSmooth functionality within TimeWarp, the camera increases smoothness, and it certainly shows. Finally, we have a new photo mode, which GoPro calls SuperPhoto. This essentially decides whether or not to utilize a given photo technology while you're taking the shot. The camera is now intelligently detecting what's in the scene and how to deal with it. If it can do HDR, it'll go right ahead and do that. In practice, it means better quality photos, and there is a marginal improvement over the predecessor, although personally I'll still be using my smartphone for images most of the time anyway, where you'll get similar performance, especially with the newer smartphones currently available. As with most action cameras, one of the slight downsides of the GoPro size is that it can only pack in a relatively small battery. In reality, this means you'll get around 1 hour 45 minutes of continuous video at 1080p 30, which is around normal for an action camera of this size. It's most restrictive when it comes to shooting 4K at 60. I only achieved around 45 minutes of continuous recording in this mode from a charge, although note that the camera became largely unusable after around half an hour due to overheating. This isn't unusual and is the main reason why much larger cameras often have 30-minute restrictions to their 4K video recording too, but it is something to bear in mind before you start dreaming about shooting all day in HyperSmooth stabilized 4K. In this age of super powerful smartphone cameras and cheap budget action cams, buying a flagship GoPro might seem like an unnecessary purchase. But the Hero 7 Black shows that there's definitely still a place for premium action cameras, and it's their best one so far. There's no doubt that GoPro has improved upon the Hero 6 lineup. While the top level specs may not sound like a lot has changed, as you can see, there's actually more than meets the eye. The TimeWarp feature is super cool and really does make a big difference over the more conventional time lapses. And the enhanced stabilization from HyperSmooth is definitely noticeable, especially when you get to frame rates previously not supported, like 4K at 60. It's not perfect, of course. It can get very hot when recording continuous 4K footage to the point where it automatically shuts down. The sensor is also still the same size as before, so it can be a struggle to get usable footage or even slow-mo in very low light. Even the menu system is a little sluggish at times. To be fair though, there's probably not enough new features for GoPro Hero 6 owners to consider upgrading. But if you're looking to upgrade from a Hero 5 or earlier camera, or are simply after a pocketable waterproof camera that can shoot some excellent video from angles that are beyond your more restrictive smartphone, then the Hero 7 Black is currently one of the best you can buy.